Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand spanking new episode of Bitcade. This is episode 36. My name is Ryan E. Moore, but joining me, like always, is...
Oh, it's me. It's Ashton.
It
Hi.
is Ashton, yes. We're still back in the audio form, just like normal, but before we get into that, we also have a very special guest with us today. Who is our very special guest today?
It's Allie!
Yes, it is! Allie, thank you for joining us. How do we know each other? A little brief going by there.
We work together.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And that's about it. That's all there is to it.
We didn't hang out or anything, or
no, we didn't. Have a whole group and play. Cards Against Humanity for however long. But that's for a different show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bitcade, where we talk about 3 topics each week. We break it out for you and talk about those topics. In this episode 36, we were talking about the 2014 Game of the Decade representative. That's what it's going to be. They're going to go up against the games that we've already selected in the past couple of years, so the past couple of episodes that we've done. And then we're going to talk about overhyped games that have come out that we expected so much more, and then it just failed and disappointed millions and millions at home. And then also, we're going to talk about why we still play X. Why do we still play insert the game here? And you'll see what games those are in the third bit. But let's start with the first topic. The first topic is 2014 Game of the Decade. Ashton, why don't you roll down what the whole point of what we're doing for the Game of the Decade in a little brief recap so far. What are we doing with this topic?
So basically, we just pick a game, like a list of games from each decade, starting. I think we started from 2010.
Yes.
And we're going through 2020, and we pick a game for each year. We narrow it down to one game for each year, and it moves to the next round. And at the end of 2020, we will pick the top of those games as the game of the decade.
So, we already explained how this kind of works with Allie, and we all picked some representatives, and now we're going to narrow it down to what games we should have fighting it out. The games that we have representing 2014 are The Sims 4, Titanfall, Child of Light, Wolfenstein: The New Order, Destiny, PT, The Evil Within, Sunset Overdrive, Far Cry 4, Bravely Default, and Hearthstone. Allie, are any of those games stick out to you? Did you play any of those games that came out?
Oh man, we're just gonna call me out.
Yeah, I'm throwing you into the fire right now.
Yeah, you're just gonna call me right out on that one. Sims 4, 1900 hours. I don't even know how.
Oh my god.
I really don't know how. I can't explain.
Is that legit?
Destiny.
Is that legit? 1900 hours? To be.
And I can screenshot it.
Oh god.
And that's not even including what's on the PS4 either.
Oh my good god. I can't even imagine playing a game for that long.
I'm sorry, that game is just, I don't even know. You get the life you can't have in real life.
Yeah, I always wanted to party with like Katy Perry and whatnot, and whatever other celebrities they've thrown into that.
Just have people drowning in a pool at your party. It's fine.
Oh, that took a dark turn.
Oh.
I didn't think that was. Ashton, did you play Sims 4? Did you ever play?
No, I think the last Sims I played was Bustin' Out on the GameCube.
Oh, jeez. I think the last Sims game I played was The Sims on PS2.
Holy hell.
Allie, Titanfall. Was that a game that you played?
I did not, because I was working at GameStop at the time, and I was like, oh, this game is really overhyped, and I work in a place where internet is not a thing. It was a bad time, because I knew a lot of people pre-ordered, and they were so excited, and I knew half of them did not have internet, so I had to return that game a lot, and I just was like, yeah, that one.
Yeah, that was...
Wasn't it also exclusive to Xbox for a while, too?
That one was... I think it was always... Have they made Titanfall for PS4? I think
Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2 definitely is. I think Xbox has the exclusive rights to to the first one.
First Titan one, right? Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's the other reason why I didn't play, was obviously because I didn't have an Xbox, so that didn't help. But I kind of saw it coming, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm. It was writing on the wall, as they say. Ashton, Titanfall. Did you play Titanfall?
I did play Titanfall. I enjoyed it. But I mean, it was obviously there was something that was lacking. I couldn't quite narrow it down. Most of the
like a
people
campaign.
Yeah, the campaign was obviously one of them, but like gameplay
Paying only online.
That is also true. Yeah, too early for the always online stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they tried to push that too early.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I think it was too late by the time they pushed it out for that.
And then
Xbox did that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I recently heard that, like, I guess what I didn't know was that they were a part of what is now Apex. So then, like, Apex has some of the guns on there now that was originally in Titanfall.
Yeah, because isn't it Apex is in the Titanfall universe? I think that's how that's.
I think
all
so.
Worked out. Yeah. Yeah, I played Titanfall. It was definitely a game that was. I think it was ahead of its time, and the fact that the always online thing was definitely a little bit pulling the trigger too early, but someone had to do it. So one of those games was gonna be the first to like break the mold of, hey, we're gonna go always online. It was totally a different situation, and then also with the campaign being online as well, and you had to just join a lobby, and it was just this ever rotating campaign lobby, and then you could jump in halfway through the story and not know what's happening, and then it resets, and then you're like, oh, okay, now I know what the story's about. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of customization either.
No, it was cool though. Giant mechs things were running around. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I feel like it just wasn't very polished overall. Mm-hmm. Now, the wall running apparently was like most people love. Was like it hasn't been better in any other game.
No, I still think to this day Titanfall 2 has, because they fixed like even the stuff. The wall running and the moving around. It's definitely, and it's the ex Call of Duty crew at that point. That was the ex Modern Warfare people. The
Respawn.
Yeah, Respawn is the one that made the company, but the what is it? Infinity Ward. Those are the guys that all left Infinity Ward to go make, because they were like, we're done with Call of Duty, peace out, and then they went off and made, that was their first game that they made. So, Child of Light. Did you guys play this game, Child of Light, Allie?
No,
I did not.
Okay, it was arcade game, or not arcade. I guess they kind of lost it. Indie game. But Ubisoft published it, I believe, and so it was. Yeah, it was good. It's nice and bright and colorful. Has a nice art style. Wolfenstein: The New Order. Allie, are you a Wolfenstein fan?
Yeah. I mean, that was the first game, actually the first Wolfenstein I ever played.
Same here.
And I was sold in.
Oh, it cuts off. It cuts off if anyone talks. We're doing this through Discord, so if anything happens, this is the whole thing, that the whole rigmarole here, that we're dealing with. Allie, are you still with us here?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sorry. But Wolfenstein: The New Order. Go ahead. And...
It was fun, gory. The whole, like, the backstory and everything was great. I think that's the reason why I was like, ooh, like, what if the Nazis had won? Like, that whole part of that story was why I was sold. I was like, interesting, and it was good, gory, and I think it was always action. I think
because like the I didn't expect to have a pretty decent campaign. That was a pretty good story that they even told, with BJ Blazkowicz, who used to be this dull mute that like ran around and killed Nazis, and now he has this kind of an emotional story being told now. But
right, because wasn't he like bedridden at one point?
Yeah, and then he meets Anya, is that her name?
I believe so.
Yeah, and falls in love, which I'm like, what the hell is happening here? Like, what kind of Wolfenstein game is this? But yeah, I yeah. Anything else about Wolfenstein you liked? I don't know if the push to talk there.
No. No, I know. I'm like trying to think about it, but I don't know. It was just one of the first Wolfensteins. And then I don't know if you saw like the little what is it called? Like little Easter egg where you could actually play the old Wolfenstein.
Yeah,
I forget where it was.
Yeah,
but you could like, I think it was at a TV or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like on a TV in the room, and you could just walk up to it and play it. And that was like, oh, I've never played this. I was like, oh, that was a different way of seeing it, I guess.
Yeah, they actually did bring that back in like Wolfenstein 2, where you like have a nightmare and you like go into this whole you go back into Wolfenstein as well.
Nightmare of playing on really low graphic.
It is funny though too, because like he's still his like 3D model, but he's in the like pixelated world. Ashton, did you play Wolfenstein: The New Order?
No, I didn't. That was I think the one. Didn't you play a different one on stream?
I played both. I played both.
You played both?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, whatever one that I watched you play on stream was pretty cool. I just never ended up playing it myself.
Yeah, the story of it is definitely this like, once you kind of know it, you know it. But I think the gameplay also, there are some shenanigans that are thrown at you in that game that make it a little bit difficult, especially when the second one comes out. It's like, what the heck? This is way overload of this is not normal. This is definitely on hard mode. But I definitely think Wolfenstein is pretty good.
And they make fun of you for choosing like
yeah.
What is it, like easy mode and normal mode? Like they make fun of you for that. And
yeah, it's like baby mode or something like that.
They make you, yeah, it's like baby mode, and like they put you like in a little baby hat and like a little sucker. And
yeah, it's pretty sweet. I mean, I love the gore factor and just how fucking brutal it is.
Oh yeah, I
think it's pretty sick.
There's definitely a lot of violence in the game, but you're killing Nazis, and like Allie was touching on the whole alternate universe aspect of things. That intrigued me right out of the gate of like what would have happened if the Nazis had won World War II, and you are essentially there at the beginning of all this is happening, and then the next game picks up right into a different scenario, but also just as like intriguing of it is. But yeah, that's definitely good. Next game that we should probably talk about is, it's a little game. Not very many people play it. Destiny came out also this year in 2014. Yeah, I don't know who wants to start here. I don't know if we want to keep the same order. But Destiny came out.
I mean, yeah, I can probably. Oh my god, I don't.
Put some.
Oh, where do I start? It's that is such a small game. I don't even know how many hours I put into that game.
Well, I
really, yeah, you know, when did I really get into it? I know at first it was my first time ever playing something that was pure grind and having to like earn your shit, and it was just, I didn't like it at first. And then once the DLC for like Oryx, which is where like you had like the, you know, darker art and things like that, is where I fell in love with it, because it was like, like I don't know, like the whole gear was nice, and then, you know, you had Crota and I don't know, all those raids. I missed out, unfortunately, like the first wave of raids, which was when you could like knock off one of the raid bosses off of the maps and stuff like that. Like I missed all of that. I think it was until like the second round when they brought them all back and they like remastered all of the raids, and then you were like getting higher oh god, what is it, higher power, or was it higher light gear again? Yeah, but you had like shards and stuff that you could put it into them to make them like glow, and I love that aspect to it too, because I think I got like my Titan had all Crota gear, and like my Warlock had all, I had all three classes maxed. It was a different time.
Do you remember which class you started with?
Warlock, 100%.
Warlock, yeah. I feel like everyone went Warlock, because why not? You're like a space wizard.
No,
most people
Hunters.
Hunter or Titan.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Warlock. I loved Warlock. Honestly, yeah, Warlock was where I started, and then ended with, honestly, Destiny 2, though, I was sold on Titans.
Yeah, because of the
shoulder checking. Yeah, shoulder checking was still, you know, like kicking.
Well, it's that Captain America shield that you also got in that thing, too.
Well, people use the hammers mostly.
Yeah, hammers was definitely
the Panic was fucking incredibly buffed. I hate. Destiny 2 ruined a lot of shit,
but yeah, no, it was a great time. Raids I had like the same common raid group, and it was such a hassle to get everyone on, but when we did, it was like at midnight and going on till 3 a.m, and everyone's like messing up at the raids because everyone's so tired. And
I think that's definitely
It's hell.
It came at a good time because I think it's because of the failure of Titanfall of like, okay, we got the bad like experience of always being online. Now, here's the giant game that like everyone's been talking about. We want to play this game. Activision is, pushing forward Bungie and like all this huge thing, and it was an interesting because no one knew what it was going to be. That was the big thing. It's like, what has Bungie got? What is this company known for making Halo gonna come out and like swing with? And yeah, I remember playing it as like that was like the high school game. Like everyone was in high school was playing Destiny and running the raids and stuff like that.
I mean, you were, I wasn't.
You're only a year older.
No, I'm gonna be 27.
Okay, 2 years older.
I was definitely out of high school. I couldn't say that. I was still playing Call of Duty in high school.
Yeah.
And then like you guys said, Titanfall was kind of like, yeah, only online, and they kind of just threw you into it. Whereas in Destiny, it was like they let you do everything, the story offline to a point, and then they were like, all right, let's shove you into online. So they let you understand the beginning of the story and everything without just shoving you into the story, middle of the story, or anything like that. Like they kind of set you in the way that you were going to get the full extent of the story without like throwing you in the middle of anything.
Yeah. Ashton, you're known to, play some Destiny here and there. What did you think about when the game launched?
So when the game launched, it was pretty sweet until I ran out of content. Which, when Destiny first came out, I mean, it had basically the main story only took maybe about if you were experienced, it only took you maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours to actually complete the game.
Yeah, it was a relatively short campaign, if I remember. It was like a couple hours. You could kind of grind it a little bit.
I really did enjoy the PvP, and most of the content that they did release for the game was pretty fucking good, especially the raids. Yeah, I mean, I ended up putting in 526 hours is what it says on here.
Jeezums.
I don't even know how to check that on a PS4.
Oh, well, I can check it straight from my Xbox.
Different topic.
Xbox,
Different episode.
But anyway, I don't know. For that game, that was the first looter shooter I played. And first one that I would actually grind. There was stuff that you could only do like once a week to get the rewards. And that was basically the only game that I was playing for about a year straight.
Jeez.
I actually got like so good at it that there was this thing called Trials of Osiris, which is you go in, your leveling matters because in normal matchmaking it doesn't. You just have your guns and the perks work, but your light level doesn't matter. In this, your light level matters, and it's like an elimination based thing, and you have to go flawless, meaning you have to win 9 times without losing a match in order to get the top prize. And I did that on all 3 of my characters every week for a couple months straight.
Jesus.
So, I ended up getting pretty fucking good at the game.
See, Allie, you had Sims 4, he had Destiny.
I mean, yeah, I just didn't play it to that competitive level.
To that level.
I think the raids were just a thing for me, and it was raid resets like every week. Like it was we did that.
But see,
every week it was a new raid.
I think that definitely like speaks to why Destiny was such a big game for that, because there were different ways of playing it. If you wanted to play the solo campaign, which is what I did, I just played the solo campaign, enjoyed it for what it was, and kind of moved on with my life. And then, Allie, you talking about the raids and that you focused on like you probably grouped up with people and like played with different people as you kind of went through the raids. And then Ashton, you focused on more of the PvP aspect of things. Like there are 3 different ways to play the game and experience it and still enjoy the game, which is kind of crazy that there's something like that could be out there.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I thought it was for me it was like the most different game I'd played in like a very long time.
It came at a great time.
Yeah. It did come at a good time. So
yeah.
Maybe get an Xbox One.
Yeah, because at that time, yeah, might as well.
Even though it was an exclusive to PlayStation 4, what?
For limited time. For limited time.
Limited time, that's right. And we were getting all the DLC and stuff first.
Yeah,
I remember that. Didn't they get like the hand cannon or something like that? And it was like
they get a whole map.
It was like a whole year, and then it was like, oh, cool, we got it.
Because Bungie was salty.
And then Activision was like, with Call of Duty, they were moving over to that, and it was a whole thing. It was definitely all in PlayStation's hands at that point. Speaking of PlayStation,
there was a major shift.
Yes, there was a huge shift, but there was also a exclusive demo that landed on the PlayStation was PT. This it technically is now considered its own game because there never was a game that kind of followed after this, but it kind of like shocked the industry of what the heck is this game? Is it a demo? Is it nothing? What's it leading to? And it turns out the PT stands for playable teaser, and it became a Silent Hill possibility. It teased a lot. Oh man. Allie, did you play PT at all, or?
Yeah, I downloaded it, I played it, I was scared. Oh man, that game, I don't even know. It was terrifying. I don't know. PT was just, we didn't know what we were getting into, and then you're just like, it felt like something new out of a horror game, it wasn't done before, I guess, or it felt like it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And we were kind of set up to think, oh, this is going to be a great game, or whatever this is, or is it going to happen? And then things kind of.
And then Norman Reedus pops out of nowhere, and you're like, "What is this thing?"
And they squandered him and made him a FedEx driver.
That is true. Yeah, he became an Amazon delivery man.
package delivery guy. I don't know. It had so much potential, and then what happened? Just. Politics. It could have been another great horror game.
Industry politics.
It was politics. So I was super bummed. I was like, man, okay, I'm gonna have to get a PS4. Oh, they canceled it? Okay, fuck you guys.
Yeah. It was I mean, I think that especially seeing how Biohazard 7 came out, and then when you got Resident Evil 2, and how good those games have become because of the company looking at a franchise, and they're like, you know what, we need to fix something. What do we need to fix? And then when Resident Evil 7 came out, it was like, we're doing a whole different thing.
Got it.
Yeah, first person. We're starting anew. It doesn't have anything to do with their past 6 or plus, because all the little branch off ones. It does have to, but not really. It's its own story kind of thing. But I can only imagine what like Silent Hill would have got if they would have just kind of did the same. They would have like assessed what the franchise originally was, what people love about it. Seeing Pyramid Head in like 4K or 1080p 60 frames would have been crazy awesome. The nurses, oh my gosh, that scares me now even thinking of that little like glitchy woman that follows you in PT. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it definitely was really good. And it looked great.
Fun fact about PT though, modders got into the game and were like looking through everything. And you know how gaming, you basically only process what's in like this cone in front of you, your point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Directly behind you the entire time is a ghost just following you around.
It's her. It's the lady. Yeah, it's pretty crazy that, and especially this whole like looping thing like became kind of a trend that people wanted to do. And I mean, I felt like we just needed to shout out PT because it's kind of the reason why we're called Primal Target. So we thought the initials we thought the initials were cool at the time, and we were like, yeah, PT, get it. And so ergo we are who we are now. But yeah, I think PT will always have a special place, and at least in my catalog of games. Even though I never owned it, I did play it. I watched people experience it to see if like people had different experiences. Yeah, it's a crazy game. It's a crazy game. Speaking of scary stuff, let's head into the Evil Within. Resident Evil creators making another game, not Resident Evil, and making the Evil Within so popular it got a sequel. Allie, did you play Evil Within?
I tried. I was a chicken. I'm gonna be honest.
Too scurry.
The whole fact of like, aren't you like you don't have a weapon, right? There's no real way of defending
No, you
yourself.
have weapons.
Oh, you do? Okay, then I didn't get that
Not
far
in the
then.
beginning.
But I remember her trying to hide under I like the fact that they give me the option to hide under a bed and a closet and things like that was just terrifying to me. That's like playing hide and seek the entire time.
Mm-hmm. There are some crazy
Yeah,
monsters in that game.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just not. I don't think I was ready. I was being a chicken about it, even though I love horror games. But I guess I can't say that,
It was
right?
a
If I
lot
chicken
of
out.
fun. It was a lot of fun. I beat that one on stream. And I actually have the second one downloaded. I just haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I remember. I think I only watched Markiplier play it, but like when he was, the upgrading system was crazy. Like there was just so many insane. Like you could definitely tell it's like okay, it's got some Resident Evil flavor in here, but it's its own thing, and I think that was really cool to see that you don't necessarily have to keep your. And I think that's kind of the difference between the Resident Evil team or the people that run with the Resident Evil crew and opposed to what happened with the whole drama of PT and all that stuff, that it's okay to let your developers start thinking about other things. And obviously, you know, we can even look at what back to Destiny and like see where Microsoft was like, no, we want you to keep making Halo. Like that's your job. You guys are the Halo guys. And they're like, no, we want to create something else. We want space, but we want to do something a little different. Ergo Destiny becomes its next thing. So it's like, I think that's kind of just some of the answers we got from the question of like what would happen if we let some like members of different teams make different games. And I think Evil Within and Destiny are two key points of examples. But you enjoyed it, Ashton? You enjoyed the Evil Within?
Yeah, so much. I was actually thinking about maybe playing the second one next week on stream. So, well, would have already happened by now if you guys listen to this.
Yeah. Another game that came out, made by, well, now is owned by a PlayStation company, is Sunset Overdrive, Xbox exclusive. Sunset Overdrive. Allie, did you play Sunset Overdrive?
That was the first game on Game Pass.
I did. That was one of the first games I actually got to play on the Xbox when I had an Xbox, but it was just loaned to me. And I got the game for free. And yeah, it was fun. It was something I'd never played before, right? Because it was kind of like skateboarding, right? But you also had like this like cartoony feel where you were running around killing monsters, right?
Yeah, they were all. I think it's like an energy drink that like mutated people into these like monstrous things. Yeah,
it was fun. I liked it. You mean you were like a lot of customizations too to the character. I don't know. I really, obviously, if you can tell by Sims that I love like customization of characters and what. I don't know if I finished it. It's been so long. But I did enjoy it. It was a good game. It was a good game to have, to try it on an Xbox.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
Yeah, it was good. I don't think I complained about it. It was an interesting take on how to travel around the game itself. Was like you could skateboard kind of, but not really on bars that were around the.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like with man, yeah, I remember it was kind of an interesting thing that like Insomniac was making an Xbox exclusive game, and because they were just known for making not Crash Bandicoot, Ratchet and Clank, right? They were known for making Ratchet and Clank. I want fact check on me, Ashton. I don't know. But the thing is like when they now are making Spider-Man and going on and stuff, I could definitely see that there's some like flippy dippy stuff you could do in Spider-Man that are like, oh, okay, that's a little. It may have had that for a little bit. Now I'm curious though to see if Sunset Overdrive will ever make an appearance back on an Xbox console, because technically Xbox does own the name. They just, Insomniac is gone, so they're off the market. So I wonder who will pick up that.
They did make Ratchet and Clank.
They didn't make Ratchet. What did they do? Jack and Dexter?
No, they did.
Oh, they did. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, so Ratchet and Clank they made. Ashton, did you play Sunset Overdrive?
No,
Okay.
it didn't peak. It, just by looking at it, I was like, I don't really care. And then I had other games I wanted to play.
Destiny.
Yeah, Destiny. That was probably what it was.
Destiny.
Exactly.
Far Cry 4. Did anyone play Far Cry 4?
Yes. I only played it because I played the Far Cry 3 was like the first game I ever played by the Far Cry, or like that entire like franchise or series or whatever you want to call it. Because if you think about it, they're not really all the same stories. They changed every game. You went from, what was it? Far Cry 3 was like in Brazil, wasn't it? Or like a cartel guy or something. And then you went to the apps, I think, in the fourth one. I don't know. You might want to check me on that because I don't remember where exactly, but I'm pretty sure you're like in the mountains.
Yeah, in the 4, yeah. That's Troy Baker's character, that one dude.
Yeah.
He's sitting on the throne and whatnot.
And he's like, you have elephants and all that other crazy stuff. But I don't know. I liked it. It was open world. You had so much to do. Kind of like, I guess Skyrim is fun too, but it's not as big as Skyrim if you think about it.
It was definitely where like Ubisoft was falling into their, I guess, starting up their like, okay, we got Assassin's Creed, we got Far Cry, and it's like just the map, do the missions, do the whole thing. You don't have to. But yeah, I didn't play Far Cry 4, but I did hear a lot of people did like it compared to. Would you say Far Cry 4 is better or Far Cry 3 is the better one?
I think I'm still stick to the third one. I don't know. I like the fourth one. The fourth one was not bad. Don't get me wrong, but it's just I don't know. The third one had.
Have you heard the rumors that they might bring back the bad guy from 3?
Oh boy, that's gonna be fun if that.
Yeah. Ashton, did you play Far Cry?
No.
Did not think
I tried it.
Okay.
I just couldn't get into it. I don't know. I just couldn't. It just wasn't. It wasn't doing it for me. I like Fallout and I like Elder Scrolls.
The style of game type of here's the mission, go do it, but you don't have to do that. You can do this mission if you wanted to, kind of thing.
Yeah, I just didn't care for Far Cry at all.
It is definitely a different flavor of things. I did play a lot more of 3 than I did obviously of 4 because I didn't play that one. But the it's because obviously it continued on. There was a sequel to Far Cry that happened after that, 5, and there is rumor that I think they're bringing back some characters from past Far Cries in this next one that they're talking about. So who knows what they're really doing. Ubisoft definitely, I think, is still going to stick with their Far Cry formula, though.
Probably. I don't
know. We got 2 last games here. I think we'll do them both at the same time. Bravely Default and Hearthstone. Did any of these games get played from you two?
No.
No, I believe one was on the 3DS and exclusive to 3DS. I did not play it, but it's also not my play style, I guess.
It's turn-based, I think.
I think so, yeah. But, I also the 3DS kind of made me explore something different too, because I didn't try that game, but I did try like the Fire Emblem for the first time on the 3DS.
Okay,
so that was like a whole different. Okay. But I did like Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I think that was kind of like some people are Fire Emblem fans and some people are Bravely Default fans, and then some people are both. But like, I think there's definitely a cut down there. And then Hearthstone. I didn't play Bravely Default, so I'm gonna kind of pass on that one. And then Hearthstone, the Blizzard, card game they came out with. I remember it was pretty hot at a moment though when it came out.
I'm pretty sure it's still going. I just don't know if it's as big as before. I personally didn't play it. I watched, Brandon and people playing in front of me and things like that, but I never played Hearthstone myself. I think I played it on like the iPad a week ago because I was asked to do it, and I'm pretty sure I had no clue what was happening. I was just playing cards and was like, well, I hope this works, and I won, and I was like, all right, well, it worked.
Yeah. I'm retiring now. I'm retiring.
Yep, I won. That's it. That's all I needed to do. I played Magic the Gathering, but other than that, like for those kind of card games, I did not play.
It is definitely hard to get into those digital card games. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that will defend them to the end of the earth. More power to you. I'm more of a physical cards. I gotta hold them. To me, it's not worth anything if it's code. I know that there are cards that are ridiculous amounts of money that people try to get rid of, but like Magic, Pokemon, baseball cards. To me, I gotta hold them in my hand. But
Funkos, No,
there you go. Ashton, did you play Hearthstone? Did you ever download that app? No,
not my style.
Didn't passed on the card game, huh?
I'm not a big card game fanatic unless it's like Cards Against Humanity.
Okay.
So yeah, fair enough with board games. Yeah, tabletop. Yep. Yeah, don't invest on those games. The card. Yeah, they cost you a lot
of. So what we're gonna do now is we've read off the list. I think we need to narrow down to. Let's narrow this down. What we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 games. Let's eliminate this down. If you had 3 votes, okay? So Allie, Ashton, you have 3 votes to vote on a game. You can only vote once per game. So, for example, I'll go first. I have 3 votes. I'm going to vote for Destiny, Wolfenstein the New Order, and... oh boy. I guess I'll go... based on the fact that it is still played to this day, I'm going to vote Sims 4.
Okay, you're the only one with the list, so you're going to have to read them off.
Okay, so we got Sims 4, Titanfall, Child of Light, Wolfenstein the New Order, Destiny, PT, The Evil Within, Sunset Overdrive, Far Cry 4, Bravely Default, and Hearthstone.
I'm going to go with Destiny,
okay.
Wolfenstein,
okay.
And do The Evil Within.
The Evil Within. Okay. Allie.
We're going to have to go with also Destiny.
Okay.
Wolfenstein the New Order. And I think I'm going to throw PT in that one.
PT. All right. So we have narrowed it down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. So pretty much cut the list in half here. It is a pretty even mark of who moved on. So just because of elimination and time's sake, I'm going to remove The Evil Within, PT, and The Sims 4 from this list. Great games. Honestly, if you haven't played them, just go play those games. They're really good. But we have a tie between Wolfenstein the New Order and Destiny. Now, I want to, before we open it up to the floor here, this does need to represent 2014, the game that can be defined as a game of the decade. Can it hold its own against the rest when it comes down to the end? Ashton, I'll start with you. Between Wolfenstein the New Order and Destiny, what game do you feel should represent 2014?
Destiny. And the reason I say that is because it was at least for console players, it was a brand new experience, something that we've never gotten before. It's a looter shooter. It had separate activities that required different sizes of parties, so that had weekly stuff you could do. It basically, the reason it should be on there is because it got you to come back every week. It made you put in that playtime in order to say you're the best. You have to put in the time. It wasn't one of those pay-to-win garbage games that you see like every fucking launch now. It had so much stuff that you could do with friends. You get so enveloped in it that you end up going through like the looking for group posts and finding people to raid with, and you make so many new friends. You had your strikes, you had your basic story missions, you had the raids, and you had some pretty great multiplayer. It was pretty solid all around. That's what I'm going to go with.
Okay. Allie, Wolfenstein or Destiny, what game should be representing 2014?
I will have to say Destiny as well. Like he said, it's, you spent so much time and you couldn't pay to win, and you worked so hard and your gear showed it. I mean, I'm assuming, Ash, you probably walked around with your Trials gear proudly, your banners, things like that. Like, it wasn't, like, you had to show what you went through or what you did. So like your raid gear, you could literally flex what you've done in that game, showing yeah, it was a great game. It's definitely 2014. It was new. We had so many different things you could have done. You had, like I said, we had the multiplayer, you had the raids, you had the story game. I because of Destiny, I can't play any other grindy game because of how many hours I put into that game, that it's just kind of, I get tired of doing something over and over and over because of Destiny, unfortunately.
That's fair. Yeah, I got to the point where I was having me and my buddy, forget which, I would alternate. I had like alternate buddies. We'd get through our trials games, and then we'd find people in the looking for group posts that were literally willing to pay to be carried. And I got paid, I think I earned like $60 out of just carrying people through Trials of Osiris.
Oh yeah, and I'm not even gonna lie on that one. I think I earned some money from when I went to PAX and they were doing your PAX like exclusive.
Oh man, I sold
they were,
so
like,
many
your,
emblems.
Yeah,
Thank
for Destiny 2. Yeah. Man, this girl goes to PAX? Okay.
Yeah. Might add a little, somebody to our crew here. I totally agree with you guys. As much as I absolutely love Wolfenstein: The New Order, and I still to this day will fight to the fact that it is a must-play game. The series is become something great. I think it's one of Bethesda's top games on the list, if not is their top game right now, considering where Fallout is kind of falling in the toilet. But yeah, I think it's just it's great. But Destiny definitely changed it changed the game. It added a whole new genre that people weren't really aware of at the time, and I think based on your two testimonies of you guys actually devoting time to that game, and I know there were streamers that became big based on Destiny, and I think it's definitely hands down it has to be the 2014 representative is Destiny. Now, I will say I have forgot one of the games, so I can't remember. If you have been listening to all of the Bitcades, then great. But I can only remember that the representatives so far are Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption, and now Destiny. There is another game I cannot remember. Ashton, do you remember the other one?
Fuck no, I don't.
Okay, well, if you guys remember it, comment sections for you guys can just comment that what you think it is. But yeah, it is Minecraft, GTA, Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption, and now Destiny being added to that list. There is another game in there, but go check out the others. You should be listening to the other show. You should know what's going on over there. Anyway, we're moving on.